Yo, what's up everybody? This is Unpunk, and I'm back with a brand new Black Ops 4 Easter egg guide. Guess you didn't think you were going to hear that one again? Well, yes, it's true. 4 years later, the Vase Easter egg has been solved in Black Ops 4. Now, I do want to warn everyone ahead of time that this Easter egg was, in quotes, solved via the code and looking through script files. All the credit goes to Anthony, which you can find his YouTube channel linked below. Now, with all that out of the way, let me tell you what this is all about. This Easter egg guide will walk you through completing the Vase's Easter egg in Dead of the Night, or the Vase Easter egg, whatever you want to refer to it as. This is a fairly difficult Easter egg, but can be done in a solo or with multiple players. I find it easier on solo, but that's just my opinion. In this video, I recorded footage with mods that stop zombies from seeing me, making me invisible, giving me God mode, etc, etc. So I have a few of those things on. They don't do anything to change the way the game mechanics work. So this is not modded in. This is officially, you can do this on any console for this Easter egg. It's just going to be harder without the mods like I did it. I just wanted to get some good footage. You guys can hear the noise and have a really good quality guide for you guys. So I turned a few on to make sure that was happening. Additionally, if you mess up or fail any of the steps at any point in this Easter egg, you have to restart the map. Basically, anything will fail, and I'll explain that as we go through. There are a few prerequisites that you're going to need to make sure are taken care of, some before you start the game and some in the game as you're playing. So first, you're going to need to make sure that at least one of your players in your game, if you are solo, you need to bring in wraith fires. You're going to need at least one person in your game. If you have other players, they can bring in frag grenades or whatever they would like to destroy bases, but you're going to need to make sure at least one person has wraith fires. The more, the easier the second step will be. Now, you're also going to need to make sure that you get, if you have the wraith fires and don't have another player in your lobby with grenades, you're going to need to make sure you have a pack-a-punch trench gun or trebuchet, I believe is what it's called in this, which can be purchased off the library wall and just pack-a-punch for 5,000 points. So I'd recommend doing that, so that way you have that gun and you can destroy these bases. If you're doing solo, you're going to have that gun. It's the only way to do it from my understanding. And then last but not least, make sure that you watch the first 3 steps of this guide before you do any of them in your own game so that you don't miss a step, because part of the 3rd step gets done alongside of steps 1 and 2. So you're going to want to make sure that you know what you're doing before you jump into this Easter egg. The first step is pretty easy. You need to pay attention to which doors you open. The short of it is 6 doors in the map correspond to the 6 different vases that you need to destroy with grenades or explosives, but we'll get into that in just a second. To elaborate, let me show you each vase location right now. It's going to all be in the main hall and which door they connect to with the on-screen graphic. Okay, now that you know which vase connects to which door, you can go ahead and open the doors in any order you'd like. But make sure you write down the order for later. I'm going to show you the order I prefer to use every game for consistency.
I always loved this room. Feels like a proper museum in here. Of course, Alistair had a difficult history with museums. Alistair prized this armor, though he never told me why. Alistair collected books on the strangest topics. Do tell if you see one titled Goo Extermination.
Once you have all those doors opened, you can move on to the next step. For the second step, you will need to have the pack-a-punch trench gun so that you can shoot grenades at the vases. If you opened the doors in the same order as in this video, then you can just follow along and shoot the bases in the same order I show now. If not, just shoot them in the order that you get from your game. I will show the footage here from a good angles to shoot all 6 vases so it's easy for you to replicate. Also note that the vases are higher on either side are further away doors, meaning that the top vase from the dining room side is the east side of the building will correlate to that of the greenhouse door. So if that was your third door opened, for example, that would be the third vase you would destroy, the top upper one above the dining room entrance. If you're doing the opposite side, the top vase for the library side, the west side of the building, will correlate to that of the cemetery door, the second door you would open on that side. So however you opened your doors, make sure that you destroy the vases in the same order. If that doesn't make sense, repeat it one more time, and hopefully that'll make a little more sense. I'll make sure to have the graphics on screen right next to them so you can see which vase goes to which door. Now, you can verify that you have completed this step correctly if you go to any candle location. I will show them all in just a second, and make sure that it is not lit up. All of them will be out if you completed the vases in the right order with opening your doors, and then you can go ahead and get ready to move on to step 2. In this step, you'll be going around and lighting candles. At the start of the game, these 6 candles will all be lit. Now we need to relight the candles, which is where the Wraithfire grenades are needed. I would recommend bringing in a refreshment or something similar, whether a max ammo, whatever you would like to use to make this step faster, so that you can get it done in an earlier round, but you can wait around for your Wraithfires if you prefer. This step is done the same as destroying the vases, but you'll need to light the fires or relight the fires in the opposite order that you broke the vases. For example, my first vase I destroyed was the forest one, and the last was the cemetery. So now we need to light the cemetery candle first, and then we're going to follow the rest of our order backwards or opposite of our original order to relight the rest of them. I'm going to show you all the locations on screen so that way you have all of that. Once all of your candles are lit, we are ready to move on to the next step. The third step requires a few things to be done while you're opening up the doors on the map. I recommend writing down the order that you discover the following 6 record players. Basically, what I mean is there is around the map 7 different record players that spawn in. 6 of them will be usable in any given game. The spawns will be on screen now, and I'll walk you through each one. The final record player will be in a secret room behind the bookshelves on either side of the spawn. So you are going to have to do that side Easter egg that's required to get done before you can finish the base Easter egg. If you need that, just look up bookshelf Easter egg on Dead of the Night and you can see a simple guide for that. I didn't want to make this one longer than it needed to be. But before you go ahead and do all of that, let me explain how this step works and what you want to do to keep track of along the way. You will need to keep track of which order you discover these record players in your game. What I mean by discover is the first player in your game to walk up to the record player and look at it for a few seconds discovers it. The game identifies that that person has found or discovered or located this record player. This works from the start of the game. This is why I was saying earlier, make sure you listen to all 3 steps. You do not, and I repeat, you do not want to use the interact button with these record players when you see them. Just walk up and look at them. That's all you need to do to activate them. The big thing here of what you're trying to do is as you go through your game, there will be many times that you have to walk by one of these record players, whether it's the one in the dining room or the one on the left side of spawn because you spawn on the left side, etc., etc. You want to make sure you recognize who walks up and discovers them, and then also keep that order written down somewhere. It's going to be different for your game most likely, but I'll show you the route I like to go regardless of which side I spawn on so that again I have a consistent pattern and it's easy to replicate without having to worry about a lot of issues. Once you know the order in your game and have all the above steps done, you can go ahead and go to the stairs between the master bedroom and the dining room, and you'll find that there is a record leaning up against one of these bookcases or bookshelves here. Now you're going to need to take that, pick that up with the interact button, and you're going to need to take it to each record player. But before you start, this one also needs to be done in reverse order from when you interacted with it, just like the candles were. So if your last location for your record player was in the music room, for example, then that would be the first location you would go. I'm going to show you on screen now me doing this in the order, and also let you listen to the little bit of audio that will play. You'll hear part of the song Mystery, which is one of Kevin Sherwood's songs. Very good song, and I very much appreciate that they put that in here. Once you have activated all 6 record players and heard the little snippets from each one of them, you will be ready for your final step, which is the hardest of all of them. And it can be messed up really easy. So to start this next step, we'll need to come to this location, which is right by the forest door. It's going to automatically enable a ghost to start flying around, which you're going to need to take him on a little walk. You will not be able to see this ghost. It's not like the other steps and other Easter eggs on this map. You can't see this ghost at all. It is completely invisible. There is no model. There is no collision. There is no nothing. But you can hear a wisp noise like you'll hear now. You must stay close to the ghost in order for it to continue moving. If you move away from it or get too far away from it for more than about 3 or 4 seconds, it will despawn and you will have to restart the map to be able to redo this Easter egg. There is no restarting at the next round. This one is a one and done. Now, I'm going to show you on screen now the exact path that it takes you on. It doesn't change. It's always consistent. It's at a set pace. It's fairly easy to do. It's a little harder if you're training as zombies, so it's pretty easy for me to do in my games.
During the siege of Ladysmith, we ran a field hospital in a billiards hall. Operations, amputations, all done on the tables. I'll never touch a cue stick again.
Now you're just going to want to follow them all the way around. There's going to be 2 locations on its path. It's going to stop for a second, being at a shelf upstairs in the library, and then at a statue outside of the library when you're coming out. Once the ghost has gotten all the way down to the cellar, you will notice it won't go forward anymore. You'll just hear the noise right in front of you. In order to get it to continue moving, you need to completely prone. Yes, prone, like to the ground where you're laying on it, and crawl. You're going to want to follow the same pattern you see on screen, and if you guys need to, you can go back and rewatch it again. But that's going to be right on screen. Once you follow this path, you're going to get to a jump scare, so forewarned, and then you will have completed this Easter egg. The reward for this Easter egg is all players in the game will get 6 perks, and for any player that destroyed a vase for the first step will also get a homunculus. I hope this video helped you out, and again, thank you so much, Anthony, for finally breaking this Easter egg and letting us all get some closure on something that has haunted the community for the last 4 years. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.